Steve Solomon performing his composition in our theme song, Foster Avenue Beach. This is Reno Lovison, executive producer at ChicagoBroadcastingNetwork.com, reporting live from Navy Pier, where I just attended a PR event for the Pier's newest attraction, Flyover Chicago. Flyover Chicago is a multi-sensory, multimedia event that includes all the thrills and excitement of an amusement park ride. The attraction will be taking over the former IMAX theater location near the entrance to the pier and is scheduled to open March 1st, 2024. So sit back and take a listen to the people who designed the attraction, including the writer, film director, music director, score composer, and others, to get a first-hand glimpse of what you might encounter and how the whole attraction came to be.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here at Reunion at Navy Pier. My name is Derek Poitras. I'm the general manager for Flyover, opening right here at historic Navy Pier in Chicago. And to speak more about Flyover and what's coming here to Chicago, I'm going to pass off to Lisa Adams.
Thanks, Derek. The first thing I want to say is thank you, because Chicago has welcomed us with open arms. So, thank you. And that is everyone in the community of Chicago. A little bit about Flyover. We started back in 2013 in Vancouver, and we're essentially what has been coined in the past as a flying ride. And Rick here was the original creative director of a ride in Disney called Soaring Over California, so we'll talk more about the evolution of Flyover. But we were the first company that sort of thought about that concept and took it out of a theme park and brought it into a standalone attraction in Vancouver. And then since then, we've opened in Reykjavik in Iceland. We then also, a couple of years ago, opened down in Vegas. So we've got two attractions or two ride theaters down there. And this is our fourth one, and perhaps our most exciting because it feels a little bit full circle. In Vancouver, we took over an old IMAX cinema space, which just has about the right footprint for what we need for an attraction. And here at Navy Pier, well, guess what? There was an IMAX cinema space looking for a tenant. So we found the right space here. It was big enough to take us. So couldn't be more excited about Navy Pier and our location here and just the opportunity to meet everyone. So I'm going to pass it over to Rick to talk a little bit more about what is a flyover attraction.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming. So, what is the ride itself? The simplest way to describe it is to take an IMAX screen. Imagine turning that onto its end, so you're looking into the dome itself directly, and then a series of ride vehicles, or pods as we call them, that are very comfortable seats. There's 9 of these pods in our ride on 3 levels, 3 pods each, and they all take our guests and roll them out into the dome. So you are sitting there like we are here with our legs suspended, nothing keeping us from enjoying the scenery that is now below us, the environment that's to our left, to our right, out in front, and all the way up to the tippy top of where generally a canopy that comes up over the top of the ride vehicle at each of these pods, which carries effects, wind, scent, and mist, coupled with the vehicle itself, which is a simulator base turned on its side that allows us to move the simulator in relationship to what Dave and the team captured and created into the filming experience. So it is truly a fully immersive, not a VR experience. It's not a goggled experience. It's not a 3D glasses experience. It is a exceedingly high resolution projection system that allow us to create really a remarkably realistic presentation of what we've captured. We capture it with a spherical lens, and we present it then back into this dome. So you are literally able to see and enjoy, much like a bird flying on the journey that we take you through, free to look to the left, to the right, and coupled with an extraordinary sound system, it gives you a three-dimensional soundscape, basically, to work in, both in the music that Elliot has created, the score he's created, as well as the sound effects and everything else. It is truly the most immersive environmental system that we've ever put into a ride. And preparation for this ride is to help discover and then reveal a part of the soul of Chicago, the soul of the people, and the soul of the city, the physical place that so many people through time have built here. And so we have a opening experience, a space we call the gallery, which features these beautifully framed video images that have been specially composed to begin to connect the audience with the collection of images, the collage of images that reflects the multiple neighborhoods across the city of Chicago and the soundscapes that are also a part of the Chicago city that we all know and we've learned to know and you all live in. From there, you're hosted into a show space that is exceedingly immersive in its own right, a elliptical wraparound screen that you stand within, a well-like screen that's close to the floor surface that one stands around, and the guests are also on some elevated risers so they can see down into that well a little bit better, and then a circular two-sided screen, and there are images that play on that and a whole story that I'll let Dave talk about. But that's the second chapter, the second stage of this three-stage experience fundamentally that really focuses on connecting and is much more narrative in its own form and connects people with the culture and the spirit of the people of Chicago. So I'll hand it to David. We'll talk more about this as he goes on into the rest of where he's going to go.
Dave is actually our director and writer of the film experience. I know we introduced him as the producer, but important to make note of that as well. So, yeah.
I didn't care, but thank you. I'm a pretty big deal. Let's see. No, we had the huge privilege of coming to this magnificent city and starting to tell a story. The architecture, the city itself, the lake, the nature, everything is so beautiful. Came forward, but even more so was the beauty of the people here and the grit and the spirit and the integrity. I mean, Chicago's just cool. Like, it's cooler than the other cities, right? Like, come on, easily, right? You guys got it going on here. We know it, and we really enjoyed getting to know so many of the different people of all shapes and sizes and starting to connect what really is the common fabric of this place. Like, what is, like, people from Chicago are so proud to be Chicagoan. Like, I'm proud to be where I'm from, but nothing like you guys. Like, this is next level. So it's really interesting to sort of dig into that and figure out why, what makes this place tick, what's the common thing, why, you know, and in that inquisition, we started to see a vision. We started to see a story coming to shape and how we would start to really let the soul of Chicago speak through this medium. Just so we're messengers of something that's very truthful, that's underneath this city, and let that beauty shine through. With this one, we realized the technology didn't exist. Like, we couldn't make the camera move the way we wanted to in the main show, and we would have to find somebody really smart to invent the technology required. And he invented this incredibly powerful drone that can fly FPV, which means he sees out the drone's eye while he flies. And it can carry a heavy payload, which is basically an IMAX camera on a gimbal that keeps the camera smooth. And dive bomb it down buildings and rail it out across streets and rip it around corners and even into buildings. And this was very exciting stuff for us because we've never been able to give people that experience. What Rick invented back at Disney in 2000 was this illusion, basically, where you really feel like you're there. You're in this chair, it's moving, if you look around, everything's the right perspective, and you're flying through space, you have wind and smell and mist in your face. So it really tricks people, and people, when they get on this ride, they're like screaming and crying and laughing, and it's really fun to watch folks enjoy themselves. But moving the camera this way is like a real gift because we get to explore this city in a way never done before, and I think you get to see the city from perspectives that have never been seen before or felt before. So our story really is twofold. Part of it is this excitement, this thrill that you get on the ride, But really important for us is that there's a purpose. There's a soul, there's a story that's more meaningful, makes the world a better place, makes Chicago a better place, helps the next generation have hope and believe that they can solve problems and live their dreams and rise to the occasion. So there is, what we learned during our interviews and during our chats with hundreds of Chicagoans is that this place just never gives up. Nothing phases them. There's no problem that's too big. And the history of Chicago shows this. It burns down, we rebuild it. The river's polluted, let's have it go backwards. It floods, let's lift the city up 10 feet. You're like, what? What are you talking about? So people have this can-do, amazing grit and attitude where no struggle is too much. You can persevere, you have persistence, and you get to the place where you really have earned the right to believe your dreams can come true. As you can see, it's really hard to explain our ride. You have to come and just see it. So we hope that when you come and you see and you experience this Act 1 in the gallery, Act 2 in this immersive environment, and Act 3 in the ride experience, the visuals are one enormous part of the experience. But really, it pains me to say this, but film is really just a vehicle to get to listen to good music and let it move your soul. Music is what changes you as a person and controls your experience. So one of the most impactful and brilliant folks that we ended up meeting during our first year here was this guy to my left, Rich Daniels. He's a bit of a living legend. He seems to know everybody. I don't know, it's crazy. But Rich, you tell stories about this pier. You're like, hey, this pier, we've been coming here for 40 years. And
it's because I'm really old, that's why it's confusing this.
Yeah, I just want to hand it over to you. So, Rich, tell us some stories.
How about Dave Massa? Yes. My story is simple. I'm the only lifelong Chicagoan who was privileged to be a part of this project. When Lisa and Rick and Dave called me 16 months ago to meet here at the pier and talk about this extraordinary experience they were creating, I was honored and flattered to be asked to be a part of their music team. Really, this is a love letter to Chicago they've created. I've heard Rick say that, and it really is. This is an attraction that Chicagoans will embrace and love when you see it, because you're going to see our city in a way that you've never seen it before. I was the conduit for several things that they needed in Chicago, including the music, and I helped to identify some of the great musical talent in Chicago that they put on camera, such as the man you're going to meet, Dr. Walt Whitman and his wonderful Soul Children. But there's wonderful variety of talented musicians and entertainers you're going to see with these great iconic images of Chicago. It really does defy words. It really does. And what they've created is something truly special and very Chicagoese. It's really extraordinary. So I'm going to stop blabbing. It was a great honor to be with all of you folks and to participate. And the guy next to me, I'm going to brag on him for one quick second. Now, he's got many credits to his name. He's a composer. Did you see the movie Elvis last year? Yeah, he wrote the film score. This is Elliot Wheeler. And he's the composer for the music you hear on this extraordinary event. And you're going to hear an orchestra with hip-hop and rap and house music and blues and R&B and soul. It's just extraordinary what he did to take these other art forms, put them into an orchestra, and make this great, great soundtrack. So, Elliot, why don't you talk about the wonderful work you've done? He's a hero, this guy. I love the work he has done with music. And
thanks, you.
He's the composer of this.
Thank you, Rich. And look, it's one of there have been so many highlights of this project, but one of them is definitely working and meeting this man and becoming more than a colleague, but a really good friend and a mentor. So it's been absolutely wonderful working with Rich.
Likewise, thank you.
It's interesting when I got the call for this job, they said, do you want to do music for a ride? And I was like, what? It's 10 minutes of a ride, no voiceover. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sounds good. And they're like, the speaker system, it's got 160 speakers. Yeah, I'm listening. And they're like, it's in Chicago. I'm like, right, you got me. And like, they want you using and celebrating the music of Chicago. I'm like, come on. And they're like, and we need to use Chicago artists. And I'm like, I'm there. And it's absolutely amazing. And the fun part about this as well was they said, and to add a level of difficulty to it, we want to do live performances on screen that we have to fly into and try and work out how we're going to synchronize that. So one of the joyful things about this was we got to write the score and the music before we really started shooting, which is a real wonderful opportunity to have, because it's almost like choreographing a dance. And when you experience the ride, that in more ways than anything else I've ever worked on. I think it really is that combination of music and vision, but also with the one amazing work that Rick does, you feel like you're dancing the entire score because the camera's moving to the stuff that I've written and your body's moving to it, and it's a musical experience. It is astonishing. You've never heard anything like this sound system. It's literally, it's around you. You can't sort of comprehend how wide and beautiful, like a beautiful bath turned up really loud, that the music is. And the gift that Chicago has given the world with its music is just overwhelming. Like the number of styles of music that you've given to the rest of the universe. I mean, from the blues and the jazz to the soul to gospel, hip hop, Latin. And I'm so excited by the artists that we got to work with. Wonderful rapper Gravity, Rebecca Bruno, fantastic singer-songwriter. Corey Wilkes, amazing as well. And then, of course, over here to my left, the incredible Dr. Walt Whitman and the Soul Children of Chicago.
Thank you so much. Y'all give a hand to this creative genius. I should not be even here. This is the creative genius sitting right in front of you. Y'all don't even know. Thank y'all for, well, Rich is the reason I'm here, and thank y'all for taking and embracing the Soul Children of Chicago. We are the oldest internationally acclaimed Grammy Award-winning youth gospel choir in the nation. So, what I experienced with this whole experience was that they have captured the heart of this city. When you leave this, they have created something that's going to make anybody that is in Chicago feel proud to be a part of Chicago, just to be in Chicago. You all would have to see it, because it's hard to express it, because I hear him trying to talk about it. All I can say is that you're going to feel water, rain, you're going to want to scream, you're going to want to holler, you're going to just make sure you don't drink before you take the ride. So just know that it is nothing like what people would expect. When you leave out of here, just know that your heart's going to be changed. It's not a churchy thing, but it is, you're going to feel joy. You're going to be laughing just like you're laughing. When you come off that ride, that's what you're going to be doing. Laughing. Oh my God, that was so much fun. And you're going to want to take it again.
Hi guys, if you're looking for something to do in Chicago starting March 1st, you can check out Flyover. It's at Navy Pier. If you're looking for more things to do in Chicago, make sure to check me out at Sipping in Chicago.
Hey, this is Reno Lovison, executive producer at ChicagoBroadcastingNetwork.com. And that was a quick comment from Chicago food and event influencer Hifsa, host of Sipping Chicago. Look for her at Instagram and TikTok. Also, I want to give a shout out to my new friend, Candace Jordan, for letting me share her table at this kickoff event at Art Smith's Reunion Restaurant at Navy Pier. By the way, the crispy fried chicken sliders were delicious. Candace is a longtime chronicler of the Chicago social scene and can be found at Crane's Chicago Business and CandidCandice.com. Flyover Chicago is scheduled to open March 1st, 2024 at Navy Pier. Advance purchase tickets are available online at flyoverchicagonavypier.com. As always, if you need audio or video production assistance for your business or organization, check out renoweb.net.
We're going home.